So today in UK we have torrential rain and it's like tropical rain. It's very heavy. So the Wi-Fi wasn't working just now. So luckily it's working now. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And the thought I'm having today is how do we carry that feel-good factor off to holiday back home? So hopefully many of you have had some lovely time away. We're actually going away in a couple of weeks because we're luckily not part of the school holidays anymore. So I'm sure hopefully you've had a really good time. Now, we do all sorts of different things when we're on holiday. And so what I want to talk about today is how do you carry that feel-good factor back when we're home? And that can be really tricky. I know how it feels where the moment you come back, you're really fresh, you had a great time, you've got that glow about you. Hopefully you've had a really relaxing and do all sorts of fun things with your family. And then suddenly you open your laptop, and it's like the holiday's gone. Hundreds of emails, people wanting your attention, your team needing your guidance, and you think, I just imagine I'm lying on that beach again and it's all gone. So that's what my talk is today about. So have a think about what were the great things about your holiday that you can bring forward into today. Now, it could be things like you might have had a different routine. Maybe you did a little bit more exercise or you did less exercise, one of the two. And so if it made you feel really great doing a little bit of exercise or no exercise or however they're related to you, then how can you incorporate that in your day? You know, things like meal times. I bet you're engaging, you're having fun with your family or your friends or whoever you're away with. How can you bring that back to today as well? So no phones at meal times, for example. Sleep is another great thing. Sometimes we have less sleep on holiday because we're partying. Sometimes we don't. I love going to bed early on holiday. I'm a very sad person in that respect. For me, it's just I love to wake up early and go to bed early because I just want to maximize the day. And so part of that is how can you increase that routine when you come home? Eating and drinking, that's another thing. Now, you know, how you can improve on that when you're at home as well. But the most important thing is what can you do to have those glimmers through the day to help you regroup and refocus. Now, what I mean by glimmers are those little things that give us joy that you probably had minute by minute when you were away, feeling the sun on your face, having a cuppa, sitting down with family. These little things that we just take for granted. So have a reflection about what you enjoyed most about the holiday. It could be seeing different places and things, in which case that's slightly more difficult when you're coming back to work. However, there might be things like, having coffee with, your family or whatever. So can you, if you're working at home, can you incorporate that if you have other members of family at home? Have a cuppa with your family. You know, what you're eating, your routine. Did you obviously had a relaxed lunch? Can you make sure that you block some time off in your calendar so that you have a break at lunchtime? And screen time is massive. Now, I appreciate what it's like. I'm shocked how much time I spend in front of a screen day to day. And on a holiday, I'm obviously way less. So what can you do to break your screen time? Now, I know there are apps where you can actually cut off the Wi-Fi from a certain time, or you can close your apps down at 9 o'clock or whatever before you go to sleep. So maybe that's something you can consider so that actually from 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever time it is, an hour before you go to bed, you have switched off your electronics so that you can go to bed refreshed. Reading. Did you do some reading on holiday? That's always a real gift for me. So if you haven't finished that book, can you get to bed a little bit early and just read a few pages before you go to bed? There's so many things that we do on holiday, which is a real gift for us because we've got the space and the time that we stop doing when we're back at the normal routine. And so this is all about well-being. In order to be resilient, courageous leaders, it's so important that we do that self-care bit. Because if we don't nurture ourselves, we're not in good form to support our team and show up with that impact and influence and that we want to do as a leader. So just reflect on your daily routine when you're away. What little things in your daily routine when you're away that makes you feel relaxed, makes you feel oh, this is great, can you incorporate in your day today? And actually, if you are going away, just reflect. If you're going away for the bank holiday weekend, for example, just think about what makes it so much fun, what just really give you joy, because what of those little things can make your day so much better. Because it is the little things that build up to feeling so much better. No, we can't always pop over to the Caribbean for a 2-week holiday. Of course we can't, or Spain, or wherever you've been. But we can do, okay, it was so lovely having that coffee. It was so great waking up in the morning feeling refreshed because I'd had 7, 8, whatever hours sleep. It was so lovely to be talking, to communicate with friends and family rather than be on my phone. Whatever it is, when you're away, just see what you can put into place straight away from today. And the other thing that when I work with my clients, all the big corporates, huge responsibilities, teams are like 1,500 billion budget, etc. They're under a huge pressure. And I encourage them to have that out of office on all the time with when they're going to answer their emails. So for example, I only answer my emails between 8 and 9 and 6 and 7 or 5 and 8 or whatever it is. Hopefully not too late, because obviously you have an evening home with your family, because that psychologically makes such a difference to get what you need done. Because you're then disseminating the information to anyone that emails you. If it's 11 o'clock in the morning, I won't be seeing your email till 5 o'clock tonight. However, if you need me urgently, give me a call, WhatsApp, or whatever the best way, Teams, whatever's the best way to communicate. So you're giving them an option if it's urgent to contact you, but you're not always feeling that you've got that pressure to keep an eye on your inbox. And it is a game changer, because you are then in control of your inbox rather than your inbox controlling you. So that if you give them information that they're not expecting a response to you, you can get on with the projects you need to get on with and the team meetings, etc., without worrying about responding to your email so quickly. And the other tip in terms of giving yourself more boundaries, which is so important, and even more important when you come back to holiday to keep that good feeling, is set boundaries for every meeting you have. So set 15 minutes, for example, before the meeting, and half an hour, or however long you think it will be, to do the follow-up emails and the contact, etc., after the meeting. Now, I know you're probably saying, I haven't got time, my diary's back to back to back to back to back. Yes. Are you in control of your diary? Because I guarantee, and it works so well with all the MDs, FCOs, etc. that I'm working with, CFOs rather, I'm working with, that they set that boundary and then they cleared everything they need to do for that particular meeting, and they can go on to the next meeting, very focused on that meeting without thinking about the previous meeting in their head. And we all know, or you might not know, but it takes 20 minutes to refocus on something different. So yes, while you might think, I haven't got time to have that boundary, you're fully focused. It's going to take you it's going to be so much quicker to do the follow-up with the emails or whatever it is you need to do straight after the meeting, when it's fresh in your mind, than thinking at 6 o'clock tonight, oh, what was it we discussed at 9 o'clock this morning? So I encourage you to do that. So there's lots of little tweaks that you can do so you can show impact and influence, passion and purpose every single day, feeling you're in control and not outside environment is controlling you. So that's my thoughts for the day. So bring that feel-good feeling back into your day, and let this be the holiday where you actually start putting things into practice and just don't literally open your laptop and think, oh, that's it, holiday over. How can you bring those little tweaks that could make such a difference in your day to day? So have a good day, look after yourselves. And if you're in UK and you're having a bank holiday weekend, I hope you have a great time. And that could be, as again, another example of how you can think about what you're doing in the bank holiday that's different that you can actually take into next week. Look after yourself, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.